Guides. We'll swap stories with local celebrity sportsmen, and I'll invite you to share your stories as well. Central Illinois Outdoors with Jared White every Sunday morning at 8 on all WHOW platforms and on demand at centralillinoisoutdoors.com. Brought to you by Bob Ridings in Pana and the Clinton, Illinois Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Bureau.
Hey, this is Todd Gleason from Illinois Extension here with a time change for our daily market report on WHOW. You can now catch our daily review of the commodity markets at 5:06 on all of WHOW's many platforms. You'll still hear all of our commodity analysts and weather professionals each afternoon, but at a brand new time. And you'll still hear the weekly wrap-up of the commodity markets right here on WHOW when Commodity Week airs Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. Remember the time change for the daily closing market report on WHOW at our new time, 5:06 p.m. weekdays.
Here are the contest rules for WHOW and WEZC Radio. We allow only one winner of any prize from either station per household in a 30-day period. Prizes can be picked up by the winner at our studios inside the Big Red Barn, 4 miles south of Clinton on U.S. Highway 51 within 2 weeks of winning. Our office hours are weekdays from 8 till 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Employees of WHOW, WEZC, and their families are not allowed to participate in our contests. Thanks for participating and for listening to WHOW and WEZC.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show is streaming to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in this segment of the morning show is Caitlin Mellendorf, nutrition educator with the University of Illinois Extension in DeWitt, Macon, and Piatt counties. Caitlin, a good morning to you. How are you today?
Good morning, Seth. I'm doing all right. It's we talked off air of summer is sadly winding down. The days are a little shorter, and man,
yep,
just gotta live the rest of summer for a little bit.
I was telling you, I kind of came to that realization this morning when I got up. It wasn't as bright out as it normally would be, say a month or so ago. So yeah, summer. I realized this morning summer is winding down, and of course, my kids are back in school. That usually signals the end of summer for the youth, at least. But I'm going to try, like you said, to prolong the summer just a little bit as much as I can. But Caitlin, as we talk for this morning, we're going to dive into men's nutrition. Why men's nutrition today, Caitlin? What do you have for us?
Yeah, so really, men's nutrition isn't particularly different than other, when women's nutrition or kids' nutrition, but it's a topic that, at least from one classes that I teach, I don't tend to get a lot of men in my classes. And so this is something that I think is still important to talk about, the value that nutrition plays for guys in providing just general body support, like making sure that you're getting enough vitamins and minerals, but also hopefully in doing some disease reduction and risk reduction around things that are more common as men get older. So heart disease, diabetes, cancer. So I want to just spend some time this morning reminding the guys that are listening today of some tips that they might try to kind of work through making sure that they are maximizing the nutrition that they get.
Well, what do you have? What should we be doing, Caitlin?
So I'm going to go back to just kind of the basics of nutrition. So making sure that you are focusing on the different food groups. So you're getting in fruits and vegetables, grains. It can be starchy vegetables as well as non-starchy vegetables. So green beans and potatoes, having dairy products if you are so inclined, or some source of calcium, and of course, whatever protein is your go-to. I know we are the Midwest, and we are very much a meat and potatoes, good comfort food for the Midwest, and that is great. There's lots of nutrients in the meats and the potatoes that we get, but I want to encourage our listeners to expand that horizon. I know that thinking about like my husband, he is very much that meat and potatoes guy. So there's a limited number of foods that he enjoys. But if you're open to it, try out some new recipes, try out some new foods. If you are not the primary cook in your house, if you have a spouse or someone in your family that cooks primarily for all your meals, be open to trying new things. You might be surprised at what you can get. But Seth, I'm going to kind of turn the tables a little bit and say, what are some things that you think guys should know? I know that we've talked a lot about health topics. What are some things around nutrition that you think guys should know?
Yeah, I mean, probably lots of protein and lots of vegetables is probably my two biggest things.
Yeah, so if we're talking about things like heart disease, diabetes, and cancer, some of the big preventative pieces of that are plant foods. And so having fruits and vegetables are going to be a big piece of that. If you are open to plant-based protein, so beans are in this category. So if you're a fan of baked beans or bean dips, it's a great way to add some plant-based protein. And yeah, generally, most Americans don't tend to be deficient in protein. We are, we have pretty good access to high quality protein, typically through animal protein. So typically that is not a challenge for us as Americans. But when you're looking at your proteins, consider the fat component. So for example, if you're going to buy ground beef, depending on what you want to use it for, buying a leaner cut of ground beef, because you're going to typically drain off the fat anyway, is a great way to reduce the amount of fat from that beef, which can raise risk of high cholesterol, raise that risk of heart disease. And there are some research with high fat diets and cancer as well. So we don't need to get rid of all the fat. We still need fat for a lot of hormone functions and cell functions, but looking if we can reduce that amount of what we call saturated fat or solid fats that are found in things, typically animal products. So high fat dairy, meats, cheeses. Again, I'm not telling you to cut any of that out, but you may want to look at rotating in more unsaturated fats. So unsaturated fats are found in foods like avocado, nuts, fish. Those are usually the big three there. Yeah. Some seeds, so if you're a fan of like flaxseed or hemp seed, kind of adding that in there. So those are the ones that are those unsaturated fats are helping reduce that blood cholesterol, which again is going to be a great addition to that risk reduction. That's the word I want. Risk reduction of disease. So focusing on more unsaturated fats than the saturated fats. And then going back to what you said about vegetables, vegetables are going to have fiber, which is great for, great for so many things, but for your gut bacteria to eat on, for having more comfortable bowel movements, depending on the type of fiber, helping reduce cholesterol. If you're someone who has diabetes, the fiber is going to slow down digestion. And so that's going to make your blood sugar rise more steadily rather than, spiking up real high and then dropping later. So that's going to be important. The fiber is also going to be important in cancer risk reduction. So it's going to be a really important thing. So fiber is found in all plant foods, just the amount can vary. So applesauce is going to be a pretty low fiber food compared to the whole apple. And some, potatoes are going to have fiber. We're going to see that from green beans, from peas, carrots, any of our vegetables, and then any of our vegetables there, fruits as well. So if you're a fan of, I know this time of year, we're kind of winding down in the fruit category for Illinois crops, but we still maybe have peaches that are in season, and then grain products. So if you're a fan of rice, pastas, breads, if you can choose the whole grain option, if that's available to you, go for it. That's going to bulk up that fiber as well. So the fiber in any of your plant foods is going to really help with quite a number of different things for your health.
Sure. Great advice as always. Caitlin Mellendorf, nutrition educator, University of Illinois Extension in DeWitt, Macon, and Piatt County, our guest on the phone here for this morning. Any other thoughtful tips this morning, Caitlin, as it relates to men's nutrition?
And a little bit less on nutrition, but we do want to I want to just highlight that typically men are not as interested in seeing medical care a lot. So do remember that, if you have the ability to do your annual checkup, go do that. If you need something checked out, whether it's a mole on your skin, if it's, just general aches and pains, go seek some medical care. I know I'm not always very fond of going to the doctor either, so I feel that. But really important is to have that regular checkup. Make sure your blood pressure is doing well. Make sure your cholesterol is all right. Because those are things that we can modify through diet. So if you're not super interested in doing medication intervention, ask your doctor about trying a dietary intervention first. And then, of course, I'll always put a plug for, go talk with a dietitian that's in your area or covered by your medical care team.
For sure. So, and I think those are kind of growing, coverages in insurance anymore is those types of things, because obviously anything you can do to, keep yourself out of the healthcare system and out of the hospital and those types of things lessens the burden on those companies. So it's kind of an incentive to take advantage of those things.
Totally. And and that's something that, at least for me as a dietitian, I'm super excited every time I see that different insurance options are providing either expanded coverage or they're adding in additional types of coverage. So that just makes my heart happy when insurance providers are noticing that dietitians have a role to play in healthcare. So
Sure.
It's exciting for me.
Absolutely. Caitlin, anything else on that topic you want to dive into this morning?
I am going to just kind of plug, because diabetes impacts men, women, everybody. And so in September, in just a couple weeks here, I'm going to start a short 6-week noon lunch and learn as kind of a diabetes support group. So it's going to be Thursdays starting in September. We've got 3 weeks in September, and then I have a couple conflicts. So we're going to come back in October and have 3 more weeks in October from noon to 12:30. So a very short 30 minutes, kind of a support group. We'll have a mini lesson. We'll have some different activities, and I've got guest speakers lined up from some different health agencies in all 3 counties in our territory. So I'm super excited about that. I'm just now getting the registration and all of that set up so people can sign up really soon. But if you are not on my email list, go sign up for that. I'll provide that here in a second. Or if you want to check out our social media pages for Illinois Extension, for DeWitt, Macon, and Piatt counties, I'll be posting those really soon. So if you want to get signed up for those. And the benefit is these will all be recorded. So if you happen to forget, or you missed one, or you just need to listen to it later on, you'll have the recordings available to you too. So
yeah.
Our website to sign up for that is go.illinois.edu/DMP events. So DeWitt, Macon, Piatt events.
So put that on the radar. Of course, I know diabetes is a big topic, Caitlin, just because of the, we see growing obesity rates and those sorts of things. Diabetes can accompany that. So a big topic. And again, anything else on perhaps the lessons that folks will learn, whether it be dieting, whether it be, just nutrition. How about some of those things that you can fill us in on, Caitlin?
Yeah, so the class is going to focus each week on a different topic. So we're going to talk about goal setting to kick us off. We're going to talk about the relationship to other parts of your care. So not just the food component of diabetes management, but also the physical aspect. So I've got a personal trainer scheduled to join us. I've got a pharmacist scheduled to come join us to talk about medication, and a mental health care provider to come talk about the stress management component, because diabetes is a all day, every day kind of management, and that gets exhausting. And so I want to have someone to provide some support on that. We're also going to do some of that basic nutrition around diabetes. So meal planning, how do you work with meals and snacks? How do you eat out and still manage your blood sugar? So we've got a lot of different topics to cram into 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But we're going to do it.
A lot of good stuff. Again, Caitlin, when is that? Where is it? And how do folks get signed up?
Yeah, so the class is going to be virtual, so it can all be done online. It's going to be Thursdays starting in September, and we'll have 3 Thursdays in September, and then we're going to take a little bit of a break, and then we'll come back in October for 3 more Thursdays, all from noon to 12:30. So you can do it over your lunch hour at your desk, and you can get signed up at go.illinois.edu/DMP events. So DeWitt, Macon, and Piatt events.
Very good. Caitlin Mellendorf, nutrition educator, University of Illinois Extension, my guest on the phone here for this morning. More to come on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
MR Systems Wireless is your local internet provider for Clinton and surrounding area. They have the products you want and the local service you deserve. MR Systems Wireless Internet service for home or business includes unlimited data, unlimited streaming, and unlimited calling. Plans start at just $48 a month and get a free Roku 4Ls with our media packages. Get the speed you need with MR Systems Wireless. Call them at 935-2100. That's 935-2100 for MR Systems Wireless.
Getting your pet's needed medications is easy with Covenant Animal Clinic in Clinton.
Yes, very convenient, especially because I live in Bloomington. It always gets delivered right to your door.
I've used the online pharmacy. It's so easy.
Click the Covenant Animal Clinic icon at DeWittDailyNews.com to learn more.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
Life is uncertain. Stop in and see me, State Farm Agent Jason France, on the west side of the Clinton Square, or click our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com and see how our full lineup of State Farm insurance and financial services can help protect your family.
Local farm broadcaster Jared White covers the local agriculture news you need to know. Hear his reports by downloading the free WHOW mobile app.
The WHOW Morning Show is now video streamed live on the WHOW WEZC DeWittDailyNews.com Facebook page and on the new WHOW TV YouTube channel. Watch Morning Show host Seth Lawrence interview guests live, as well as watch archived video podcasts of any interview you missed. Whether on Facebook or YouTube, we're providing 2 more ways that Central Illinois' local news station, WHOW, delivers compelling content for you.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Caitlin Mellendorf, nutrition educator, University of Illinois Extension, my guest in studio for today. Caitlin, as we talk, I know we touched on this about a month or so ago, but never hurts to revisit. Family nutrition, family mealtime with school back in session. What do you have for us here?
Yeah, so schools are back in session. I think everybody's probably busy writing their calendars, right, for all the different after school events and all the things. So I just wanted to touch a little bit about the importance of family mealtime and its connection to scholastic achievement. So we have research showing how the family involvement, where you're sitting down together around food, really impacts kids in a positive way. So we tend to see that they have better school attendance, they have better grades, they have better involvement just with their peers and with their teachers. They have, if you're concerned about this with your family and your kids, there's reduced risk of using drugs and alcohol, especially with older kids, if they are involved in family meals. So there's a lot of benefits around sitting at a table together, eating food together. But when we get back to school, it's getting so busy because of all the things that are going on. So I want to kind of give everybody some inspiration on shifting your concept of a formal dinner, 6 o'clock every school night at the table, because that's not going to be the reality right now, because a lot of families are going to be running around. They're going to be a lot more busy. So what I want to invite people to think about is family meals as any time that you're eating together. So maybe breakfast is an easier time of day for you to sit down together. Maybe it's going to be dinner for a lot of families, but maybe breakfast is a little bit easier while you're still all in the same house. Also, don't limit it to, a family meal doesn't have to be everybody in your household. So maybe it's a parent and one kid, maybe it's 2 parents and 1 kid, maybe it's, a different combination, different combinations. Maybe it's grandparents coming in and having a meal together. And also it doesn't have to be always, one big family meal. It can be smaller segments of your family eating together. And it can also it doesn't have to be around a table. We can have dinner in the car on the way to, soccer. We can have those sitting out in the middle of a park. We can have dinner together sitting in a blanket on a picnic in the house, or in a pillow fort, in the house. We can do these, it doesn't have to be at that formal dining table. So you can have these family meals in many ways. And really the goal is less about the food and more about the interaction between you and your kids. And so having that time to ask them, what's going on in their life, what went really well today, what was really challenging, what do you want to try for today? Maybe you want to throw in some questions about gratitude. What was really nice about today? What did you experience? Or maybe you asked your younger kids, how did you help somebody today? How are you helpful today? So getting that experiences. So there's a lot of benefits to eating together, but sometimes you don't have to focus it all the time on being a nutritious meal either. Sometimes it is convenient to run through a drive-through and grab, what's quick and easy. That's totally fine for some days. Whatever is going to help your family get through this busy time, especially this transition time into August and September.
Sure. So good advice there, Caitlin. And yeah, mealtime is a great chance just to catch up and be together. And that's, obviously where a lot of families can congregate at any given time. So very good. Anything else there, Caitlin, you want to put on the radar?
Yeah, so just want to send some hugs to our families, because this is going to be a busy time, but also just have some excitement in your back to school transition time. So this can be fun and busy, and it can all be good.
Caitlin, as we wrap up here for this morning, just one more time, highlight the diabetes online program and where folks get signed up for that.
Yeah, so the Living Well with Diabetes is going to be a 6-part virtual class. So you can do it online. It'll be 3 Thursdays in September and 3 Thursdays in October, starting at noon to 12:30. We'll have several different guests from different health agencies around DeWitt, Macon, and Piatt counties attending with us. And you can get signed up at go.illinois.edu/DMP events for DeWitt, Macon, and Piatt events.
All right, very good. Caitlin, what are you blogging about lately? Anything that's been on your mind as it relates to nutrition and those things?
Ooh, so we have the community garden attached to the Kirby Medical Center property in Monticello. The master gardeners have a plot out there, and they grew Chinese long beans as one of their crops this year. So I've been playing around with that. So I have a blog soon to come up about how we prepare these. So think about green beans, but think about them like 1.5 feet long. They're really fun.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Fun. Nice. So, Caitlin, where do folks find your blogs and such? Have you been blogging lately, by the way?
Yeah. So come find, we are moving a lot of stuff to our state webpage. So it'll be extension.illinois.edu/food.
Mm-hmm.
And that will have all the blog posts from our different educators around the state. And I've been blogging a lot about summer produce. So peaches and zucchini.
Oh, nice.
Chinese long beans. So if you need to get rid of any of your zucchini, there are lots of recipes.
Very good. Caitlin, I got to let you go. Caitlin Mellendorf, nutrition educator, U of I Extension, on the phone with us.
Former President Trump's legal team filing a new motion in the saga over the Mar-a-Lago raid. The former president's lawyers seek appointment of a special master to review what the FBI seized in the raid. Decision day for voters in several states. Primary elections feature